yes, here we are once again, all of my beautiful people. This is the Daily Huddle. My name is Chase Steele Gray. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I am a multifunctional artist, singer, dancer, actor, photographer. I touch all the things that I love. That's the best Dun and Bradstreet that I can tell you about me. Just to give you a short introduction, if you've never been here before, this is Wednesday, where we talk about health, vitality, wellness, all the things that keep us happier on the planet during our journey. That's how I like to look at it in my mind. Today, I have a special guest. I call her special because I've always called her special, even before we got on this huddle thing. She's been with us before, but if you've never seen her, her name is Kathleen Kraft, and I'm going to tell you some stuff about her before we begin. She is a mother, a massage therapist, partner, avid friend, life explorer. She enjoys learning and practicing many aspects and practices of human health and finding the balance between healthy and having a great life while being a human and rolling with the punches. Best run-on sentence I've ever read. I'm going to read that again after because I love it. I love everything about that. In the words of a dear elder, if it's not flowing, I ain't going. This life is a roller coaster, and keeping up with great health practices for a body, mind, spirit make it a little easier with ups and downs and rounds and rounds. Ups and downs and rounds and rounds. I really like how you said this. It's good. So, welcome to the Daily Huddle, Kathleen, once again.
Yay, thank you for having me, Chase. It's great to
These
be here.
conversations, the conversations just don't get old. I don't know how to say it. I mean, just don't, you know? You and I are connectors. We've known each other for multiple years. I always love to have you by my side when talking about things like this because we flow properly. And the topic today of how do you embrace being human in every stage of life, just so everyone knows who wasn't there when we were thinking about this, I was talking to you, or you were talking to me about fluctuating in weight and like how you're a thicker girl than you were at this point and that point. And I was saying to you, when I met you, you were really thin and then you were a little heavier and then whatever. And then we were like, at the end of the day, we are right where we are for whatever reason it is. So we need to just be human about that. Like, just in this particular space, why am I here? Why am I so fat? Why am I so skinny? Why am I so depressed? Like all the things that people say. And it's like, well, we're in that moment, right? What are we going to do in that moment? What did you say to me? You said something to me about, oh, we were talking about your son. And he said something about you being bigger, or someone said, what was that again?
I think it was a student at school that said that your mom was fat or something. And I
Oh,
said,
right, 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 right. And he
yeah.
said,
And he said, but mom, you're not fat. I said, well, I'm a little bigger than I once was, but it's okay. It's just more to carry around. I said, it's
right?
not bad or good or anything. It's just,
It's
it is
not
what
bad
it
or
is.
good. Right,
Mhm.
right. And so how do you I think you do a really good job at being grounded and being human since I've known you. How do you do that? Like what's the impetus for you to be Kathleen so magnificently well? I don't know what it is. Just something about you. You're a chameleon of moments. You can just do that. I don't know what it is. I've never said that sentence before, by the way. That's for you. I don't know why I said that. It's great.
Well, that was unique and beautiful. A chameleon of life. Yes. So I think something that really helps me personally is to wake up every day grateful that I woke up in a human body and
Right,
not as dust or under the ground, or like I have a new day to live life in a
correct.
human body. And it's gonna fluctuate. It always is gonna be different than it was the day before, hopefully. I mean, I don't want to be the same every day.
No.
And so that's another, I woke up, I'm not who I was yesterday. I have a new opportunity to be in this body and feel what it's like to have the wind on my skin and
Right,
the air in my lungs. And that really, really keeps me able to flow with life in an
right,
ever-changing body.
right. And would you also agree? that there's like there's a connective learning curve when we're changing. So it's like you talk to people. I've seen people. I mean, I've run into people when I come home to see my mom that I haven't seen since high school. And I remember someone coming up to me like so excited to see me. I think I told you this story. And I was like, oh God, who is this? Who is this? Please give me a hint. I have no freaking idea who this is. And she was so excited to see me. She was hugging me. And I was like, oh my God, just say one thing, something to tell me who you are. Just one, please. I don't want to be embarrassed. And she goes, my mom was just talking about you the other day. Remember in high school when you used to come over? Boom. I was like, yes, I know who this is now. Why did I not know who she was? Because in high school, she was about 130. And when I saw her, she was about 290. Like nothing, zero. Did not recognize her at all. And it was so interesting because when she started talking, all that went away. Because I
Mm-hmm.
just remembered all of our happy times, whatever. I just didn't know who she was. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And with you, I've seen you over a stretch of how many years? Over 10 years, right?
Yeah, like 14.
About 14. And I've seen you at 6 different weights, but you're still Kathleen, right? I don't go, wow, look at her. She's thick. Man, she must be eating a lot of freaking food. I never say that. Do you know what I mean? Like ever. Or wow, she looks skinny. Holy cow. Is she okay? I should talk to her about it. Like we always talk about it in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And both of us also have this kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that you and I have we have very fluid body images of ourselves. What
Mm-hmm.
most people don't know, I don't think I've said this on the huddle before, but Kathleen and I both did figure modeling, absolutely nude in front of uh, artists.
Mm-hmm.
And my father's wife is a very well known, an amazing artist, and we both know her. That's how this all happened. But
Yeah.
in the stage of your life, and going back to your son again, do you think that he's seeing you as someone who's like takes care of this being human thing? Do you feel like you're giving him this perspective that allows him to go out in the world and be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm happy. I don't need to, size up to anybody else's expectations of me. Does he? I've been around him a couple times, and whew, he's a really focused kind of guy. He wants to do what he wants to do. He does. It's like, wow, he's going. He doesn't really stop too much. But what do you think about that?
I think he has his own idea of what he wants to be,
Hmm.
and I go with that. So if he wants
Oh,
to be stronger, we eat more spinach, we eat a little meat, we exercise, we stretch, but he
right,
doesn't have a negative body image of himself. And I think that, I mean, his dad also, like, we both have fluctuated in weight, and I think he sees that, but we don't focus on it outwardly. We
right.
just, around him anyway, we're not like, oh, I'm so this, I'm so that, whatever. That's if that exists, it's only in our minds. We don't speak it. We just go with it. And
Right.
so I think he's getting a very positive aspect of what it means to be human in an ever-changing body. Because he doesn't have any sort of attachment to, oh, this person's that and this person's that. And if he does, we say, that person, has their own body and it's okay. You know, if we see someone that's extremely overweight and he says something, it's like, well, how do we shift that into a greater perspective rather than focusing on, oh, yeah, that person's like, fat or skinny or whatever. It's not a conversation. It's
Right.
chameleoned into acceptance.
Correct. Correct. Can you say, maybe you disagree with this? I'm just throwing it out there, that your weight fluctuation has something to do with psychological things that are happening with you? Like, can you remember when you were your happiest? Were you also at a great weight, or does that have nothing to do with it?
It's it's a whole perspective. It's a whole situation because there's been times in my life where I was thinner and I wasn't necessarily happier,
Hmm.
emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And so right now, to be the weight that I am. I know there has been some things that have happened in my life in the last year or two that have contributed to maybe a little bit of emotional protection
Right.
weight, but
Right.
also I'm in a great relationship. I have an amazing son. I have stability. My career is going well. Like there's things that are in place that are joyful that were not necessarily in place when I was in a smaller body.
Hmm.
And I know that I've had times of high stress and not being grounded. And that's another aspect of this. I mean, when I was living in Manhattan, I was like you said, I was super thin, but I was also not grounded. I was not in a positive aspect of my career time.
Mm.
And so a dear friend of mine reminded me recently, she said, can you honor that your body is showing signs of grounding you? And
Mm.
being in a space of being a homemaker and being a mother and being a supportive partner and having a career, like all those aspects, it's essential that you get a little more grounded. And so you don't need to deprive your body of these certain things that you like. Maybe you want to change a few things and walk more or whatever, but to not focus so much on the body, but focus on all the other aspects of what it is to be a human.
Mm. See, I think this is where the rubber meets the road, right? Because unfortunately, through marketing and television shows and movies and da 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 da, da, those things are so put in the front of everything. You know, if you pick your five favorite people to be around, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably has nothing to do with the way that they look.
Mm-hmm.
And when that gets in the way in certain people's life, that can be a problem. And we, in the title of the question, we say stages of life. What stage is this for you? Can you verbalize what stage that is mentally, physically, um, what's happening in your spirituality or your heart? Is this like I'm at a good stage in my life, or I'm at a very understanding stage of my life where all these lessons are really settling in now? Or, oh my gosh, I have so much more to learn. It's freaking crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, how do you, you know what I mean? Like, where do you see yourself in this? Because being human at stages of life, it's like, it is different, right? You're not the Kathleen that I met. You're different now. How do you feel about that?
I feel like the first part of what you said, meaning I feel like I'm at a space in and a place in my life where I've been through a lot of things and I've established a lot of experiences. And at the
Right,
same time, I still know that there's so much more to come out of me. So I'm in
right,
a very, like, I feel like I'm on the precipice of something because it's a time where I'm letting go of a lot of things that I have accumulated in
yeah,
experience and in life and making space for new while at the same time maintaining presence, which is where for
mm,
me, consistency, weight, like I need to be grounded in this time of my
right,
life to be very clear about where I'm going. What does 10 years look like from now? But also, like, what habits did I have in the past that I want to reincorporate? What things in the past do I want to fully let go of that I had habits of that don't serve anymore? And so, as a
right,
mother of an 8-year-old, as a partner, as a person that's functioning in the world, and at a very clear place of friendships that have been established, I feel like I'm at a really great space where it's now
mm,
launching into what's coming. But to be
right.
grounded and stay in one place for long enough to see all of that is where I'm at.
Mm.
Like, let's look around and see what's coming with us into the next part of life.
Yeah. And also, just to briefly bring up your mom, I've been around her a couple times. As the human being that you allow yourself to be, do you see do you see your mother in that? Or have you carved out a new version of what you saw in her? Do you understand what I mean? Like at this
Yes,
stage in your life, you have a kid, she had kids,
right.
and now you're a mother, like for real, for real. What do you
Yeah.
do with it? How does that feel?
I mean, it feels very different because my mom and her mom and her mom were all single mothers,
Oh, I didn't
and I
realize
have
that.
a partner.
I didn't realize
So
that.
I feel like I've had pieces of her, and I
Hmm.
still do.
Okay.
Um, and for a lot of it, it's a divine comedy. Because the relationship I have with my mother is amazing,
A
and
divine comedy. I like
yeah,
that.
it is. It's really a divine comedy because she is stuck in certain ways that she doesn't want a partner. She didn't want to be with a partner. She just did her life in her freedom.
Right.
And I see the challenges that have come for me in having a partner and having to be flexible with my ways and my desires and my things and the way that I live.
Right.
Um, and so I see pieces of my mother, and then I see my mother, and then I see where I'm going that is beyond, and not in any kind of way that's good or bad or right or wrong, just in a way that my journey differs from what my
Hmm.
mother chose.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Make sense?
that makes total. It makes total. I think you've answered it. Yeah. I mean, it makes total sense. I when I speak to people about, like, if you have a conversation with somebody and they'll say something to you, be like, oh, so and so, so and so, so and so happened, and I'll be like, okay, you're human. It's like people will say something to you and they'll expect, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Some people expect to be a superhero in certain situations, and they're not. They're just human. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I messed up. I said the thing I wasn't supposed to say, or I did the thing I wasn't supposed to do. I was talking to someone about this the other day, and I was saying that humans are humans. So when we mess up, that's just human. Don't let anybody like knock you into the freaking ground every time you talk to them about what you did. It's just human. We
Mm-hmm.
we mess up, right? And I I thought about this because I thought about when I was speaking to this person, they were saying how someone did something wrong to them years ago. Like, oh, yeah, that's when they did that thing to me, and I couldn't believe they were still talking about it because we had discussed it before. And I'm like, are
Mm-hmm.
you carrying this around with you? Yes, I'll never let it go. And I was like, wow. And somewhere in there, we were talking, and I said, this person is just human. They just messed up. You should let that go. Let them let that go. No, I won't ever let it go. And I watched them, like the fire coming from their eyes, and I was like, wow. I think I'm going to ask you, but I think being human means we understand certain compassion and empathetic moments, but we have to learn that. If we weren't taught that, we are walking around ready to go as soon as someone touches us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I admire about you. We've had long conversations about human things, and we've had conversations about relationships that I've been in. We've had conversations about relationships you've been in. Even
Mm-hmm.
now, being single, I can still speak to you about things, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And you'll say things that incite me, whatever. Again, just coming back to this center point of being human, embracing being human. When you mess up, when you get to the level of, yes, I'm there, like I won this award, you still got to go back home and wash those dishes. That's just human, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
that to me is powerful because we're living in a world where everyone is looking at things. Oh, I got this thing. Even people in an entertainment industry, right? What's the guy's name? Jon Stewart said when he was a young comedian, all he wanted to do was get on Letterman. And he got on Letterman, and Letterman was like, wow, you're really talented. I love your set. You're going to do really well. He said, this is awesome. And then he went right back home to his roach infested apartment that he couldn't afford. Nothing changed. It was just a human moment where he hit a pinnacle and then he still had to work, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we're here, we're on this huddle, we're talking to people, we're all like present, but we're just human. And if we can remember that consistently, it's the greatest gift ever. Whenever someone doesn't call you back, whenever someone doesn't give you that money they owe you, whenever someone is like you're at their house and they serve something that they know you don't eat, it's just human stuff. right? And this
Mhm.
conversation all grew out of that moment we had where we were talking about, you said something funny. You were like, what did you say? You said the word thick. You said, I'm a thick, or this is my thick moment. What did you say?
I said I'm a thicker version of myself right
I'm a thicker version of myself right now. I love it. Love it.
now.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, whatever. I was like, that's fun, actually. Let me see a picture of that. And you sent me some pictures, and I was like, oh, okay, great. You know, oh, so much fun. So much fun. Um, I want, I want to open it up if anyone has any questions or any comments at this point about this concept, because I think we could do an hour on this easily, right? I haven't even touched on five things that I'm thinking in my head right now. But does anyone
Yeah.
have anything they would like to chime in and say? Anyone? All right. Not a problem. Not a problem at all, actually.
I
Um,
mean, to go back to being human
yes.
and being in that moment, and
Yeah.
I love the quote that you said in the beginning. And it reminded me of this other quote, and it says that it's about time. So time is
Yeah.
too slow for those who wait, too
Mm,
swift for those who fear, too
mm.
long for those who grieve, and too short for those who rejoice. But for those who love, time is eternity, or time is not, like time doesn't
Wow.
exist. And
Wow.
so it was probably 2009 when I came across that quote, and I as much as I can bring it to the forefront of my mind when I'm in an experience that doesn't feel great, or when I'm with an experience with somebody else that doesn't feel great, I try to come
Mhm.
back to that we're human and we're having a human experience. And like, I'm so grateful to have this human experience. And it is all these emotions and all these feelings. And it's all okay as much as we can embrace it and be
Right.
like,
Right.
okay, I'm not feeling that great right now. I need a minute. Or this has nothing to do with you. I need a minute. I'm having like a big experience. I'm letting something go. I'm triggered because of something you said that has nothing to do with you. It's me. It's something that I need to go and journal about that is an experience that I had 10 years ago with so and so that's coming up that I need to
Right.
deal with on another
Right.
layer that I didn't know existed. So
Right.
the compassion for ourselves, the compassion for the other. And at the end of the day, it's really not ever about the situation that I'm in that's frustrating or upsetting or whatever. It's something that's going on inside of me on a level that I didn't know.
Right.
And so to have that understanding and that grace, especially in our intimate relationships with our closest friends and family, is so important for this human journey. So I just that was a burn that needed to come out.
No, I mean it's great. Man, I have so much to say about this because I I've been dealing with something as well that I definitely can't bring up now because there's not enough time, but in general, where you connect with someone who their definition of human is not treating themselves well. You know what I'm saying? That's their
Mhm.
consistent theme. Like, I should be doing better. I shouldn't be saying this. I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't have done that. Why did I? We're right here. We're right here in this moment. What can you do now? I'm gonna go make a sandwich. Great. I'm gonna go pick up a book. Great. Let me call my friend, say hello. It's in the now. That's what
Mhm.
human is. We are
Yeah.
human right now. We could sit around all day and talk about what we didn't do 20 years ago. I should have done that, man. But it's like, okay, now what? And as far as specifically women are concerned, when I talk to women, the old the popular question, right? When a woman goes, "Do I look fat in this?" Or "What do you think about this, Chase?" And I say, "I think it looks great. I think you look lovely." The moments when I don't want to say you look lovely, truth, hand to God, I say, um, I don't think it compliments you the right way. I think you could put something on that compliments you better. But I never say you look fat. Yeah, you look fat. Because these are the words, right? We're human. We can use words that make sense. We can use
Mhm.
words that cradle the moment, right? Fat is three letters, but oh my goodness, what a powerful word. What a disempowering word on many levels, right?
Hmm.
To most people, right? So I love this topic, and I really, actually, I want to do a part two on this, if you don't mind, because I think there's some things that we were going to say or could say that may be
Hmm.
very helpful as well. And it's
Yes.
why do we ask these questions to men? I've learned my lesson. Shiva. Um, Listen, I'm really honest with women though, you know. I just don't want to disrespect them. You know, that's all. I'm honest. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you the truth, right?
Yeah.
But in a way that's comfortable, right? We can curate our words. We can. That's what my team needs to be better at. I need to get them together and say, "Hey, let's pick some different words." Right?
Hmm.
We're all
Yeah.
human. Um, so yeah, this is powerful, and I want to kind of do a part two and change the words a little bit, you know, but
Hmm.
kind of stay in the
In the
same
vein.
area.
Hmm.
Tell Augustine I said hello as he moves through the back. Um, um, but yeah, so we are going to close down, I think, in a couple moments, unless anyone has anything to say. I know this is a topic that people want to talk about too. I know it is. I know some people are hiding behind the sofa right now, going, "Nope, not me, not right now. Thanks."
I
I
just want
get
to
it.
say thank you.
I get it. I understand. It's all good.
I just
So,
want to say
oh, someone's going to
thank
talk?
you. I didn't catch reaction to the story,
Hello,
but I just
Shiva.
wanted, hi. Just wanted to say thank you because as I was sharing, I literally this morning just gripped
Right.
and I was journaling and I was like, Grace, I need it for myself. What's also interesting really quick is that as I was journaling, so there was something that happened, and I expected the person to react alarmingly like they normally do, and they didn't. And
Mm.
I was very uncomfortable with it. It was like my brain was like, no, no, act like the jerk that you know.
Freak
Like,
out. Yeah, let it go. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
so it just cued me into um, the need for me having grace with myself because ultimately, as I was journaling, I saw it was because some part of me didn't feel like I deserved it. So this topic was just perfect. So
Excellent.
thank you for being here.
I love that when people say stuff like that. Shiva, are you an artist? Do you draw?
I write and I dance.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Okay, great. Thank you so much for your comment. That's awesome. I hope you come back for the part two because we're gonna have a part two on this. There's a lot of stuff that I think we should bring out, you know. And I'm so happy you said that because we do that, don't we? It's so human to expect a behavior from another human. Isn't that fascinating? Like, I
Yeah.
know what you're going to say. You always do that, right? Why don't you just ask her? I know what she's going to say already. No, just ask her. I know what she's going to say. Please ask her. They ask her, oh my God, she totally loved it. Was that what you thought she was going to say? No, at all. I thought she was going to freak out on me. There you go. You know, we're just human. We have different vibrations on different days for different reasons with different things. That's the part I love about being human, that I'm not the same all the time.
Yep.
Kathleen, you know me. I
Yep.
know you. But on any given day, I could do something that would surprise the crap out of you. I guarantee you.
Hmm.
We're just not
Absolutely.
we're not together enough. We're not in each other's presence. Oh shoot, I didn't see you. Michelle, go ahead. We got a couple more seconds.
Hey guys. Yeah, so um it brings to mind two mother-daughter situations. One I was the mother, one I was the daughter.
Mm,
My mother has always been hypercritical of me,
mm,
and her tone of voice I always interpreted as being critical of me.
mm,
And just recently, I was talking with my mom, and she just started on this lovely um explanation of how proud she is of me
nice.
and how
Nice.
amazed she is that I'm
Nice.
living through what I've lived through.
Right.
And it just totally changed my perspective on my relationship with my mom.
Right. Like that. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then on the other side, there's my relationship with my daughter. And for years in high school, she wouldn't ask to go out with friends, and I'd keep trying to encourage her to go out with friends and things. And then years later, um, we were talking, and she said, "Well, I never asked because you wouldn't have let me."
What?
And I said, "What? If you had asked, I would have said yes."
Interesting. Wow.
So,
Wow.
this anticipatory thinking doesn't give the other person the chance to respond.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. And we have
Mhm.
to be responsible for how we are showing up for that person, because in a sense, we're creating the thing that makes them not, it's so crazy. It's amazing. Like it's just a pas de deux, as they say in the French world. But yeah, thank you for that comment. That's awesome. I really appreciate you. So, my good people, the huddle goes by like the fastest wind in a hurricane. That's just how it is. And where are these sentences coming from, Kathleen? I don't know. I've never said any of these things before. I have no idea. The fastest wind in a hurricane. I need to call my mother. I need to call my mother. Anyway, thank you all for joining us on the Daily Huddle. As always, we leave with our tenets that we love so much. Love, please love more than you have. Live out loud. Laugh like there's no tomorrow. Move the body. Move it more than you think you should. Unless you like your thick self. That's fine too. That's human. I had to roll back to that. Eat mostly plant-based if you can, because that is definitely going to help our body be more fluid and more agile and more just everything moving around, like more movement, right? Stress less, please, my good people. Please stress less. If you can't stress less, reach for something that allows you to go out into another place in your mind, right? Also, the sleep, we know about that. I know about that. I need to get more sleep. Even though I'm saying that to you right now, I know I need to get more sleep. It is imperative that we sleep more. The body, physically and mentally, is going through a rigorous array of things every day. And when we take it down, we are definitely rewarding ourselves. And lastly, please challenge all of your assumptions by checking yourself before you wreck yourself. It will do you no harm. My good people, have a spectacular day. Intentionally create the day the way you would like it to be, right? That is what I give to you today. Create an incredible day. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you soon. Have a great one.
Big love.
Excellent job. Bye, everyone.
Peace, peace.